Hi, anatomy students. So I wanted to make this short video explaining one of your final exam options. So as sophomores and juniors, you have two final exam options in this class. You can choose to do a virtual presentation on a disease or disorder, or you can choose to do this one, which is researching a career in the science or medical field and making a informative website about it. And you're going to add to our website that I'll show you that we set up last year. This project was designed to for the sophomores and juniors after the seniors left us. So we have that week of time that usually we have a little extra time. And it was really helpful for them. A lot of them researched careers that they have been passionate about for a long time, and they learned a lot about them. Some realized that it was a longer process than they thought it was going to. Some realized that depending on where they work, in the country could really alter what salary they made. Some of them realized that the licensing requirements were a little more challenging to maintain that they had knew about. So while doing this research didn't deter any of them, I don't think, from choosing the career that they were considering, it did help them become more informed about it, which is why I think it's so important that you guys do this. This project was actually inspired by a friend of mine who became a doctor a little later in life. And she really wanted to become a doctor, and she doesn't regret it at all. But when she ended her journey to becoming a doctor, she ended with a lot of student debt. And she knows that if she had researched things a little bit differently ahead of time, she could have made some better choices along the way that would allow her to have less debt and a higher salary when she graduated to pay off what debt she did have. So she kind of inspired me because she knew that if she had researched a little bit more, she would have learned a great more about that career and made better choices. So I'm going to take you through the project here. So this is in Schoology. So you'll probably want to download this. I'm not going to take you through the whole rubric because I know you guys can read. But obviously your objective is to research a science or medical career field that you're interested in. Even if you're not sure and you just want to learn a little bit more about something, you choose that. So you can learn a little bit more about it and make some better choices. We're all going to be making a website about the career that you choose using Adobe Spark Page. If you've ever made a website before and you like maybe a different app, I want you to use this one because we're pooling all of our websites together on one main website. And it just looks more professional if we kind of all have similar features to our website. If you've never used Adobe Spark Page before, it's one of the easiest ones you can use to make a website. So I think you'll find it very simple and straightforward. All right, next I'm going to take you through what's going to be on your website. So once you choose your career that you're going to be focusing on, you want to be as specific with the career choice as possible. So let's say you want to research being a nurse. If there's a certain type of nurse you're considering, like you want to be an emergency room nurse or a pediatric nurse, the more specific you are, the better, because you'll be able to get more specific results and more specific information about your career. So try to be as specific as you can. So you're going to look up first the background, give a little background on the career that you chose. Next, you're going to look up any personal qualities that a person in that career might want to have in order to be successful in that career. Next, you'll look up the educational requirements. So what type of degree is required? If there's any continual education requirements to maintain your license in your career or your career throughout it. Next, you're going to research 3 colleges. Now here I say list 3 schools in Illinois or a neighboring state. But if you're passionate about a school in another state, like on the East Coast or the West Coast, I want you to do what I want you to learn from this. So if you're passionate about a school that you really want to research, please research that school, even if it's not in Illinois or a neighboring state. So if you're researching 3 schools, I also want you to consider any advanced training that you might require. So if, for example, if you're going to be going to nursing school or med school, or if you're doing any other advanced degrees, don't forget to consider if those 3 schools have programs available to you in order to complete those degrees, or if you need to attend a different school in order to complete that. So don't forget about any advanced training. And also you're going to include here any tests that you might need to take in order to get into that training program. So for example, doctors need to take the MCATs in order to get into med school. So any kind of advanced test that you might need to take to get into that training program, make sure you include in the area on college. Next, you're going to talk about financing. This is the one that the whole project has basically started, because I want you to make sure you know the approximate cost it's going to take to achieve the appropriate education for this career. You can focus on the 3 schools you chose above to determine the approximate tuition costs. Make sure you consider room and board if you're going to be living there, those kinds of things. Also consider any advanced degree costs as well. So if you need undergrad plus 4 years of graduate school, you need to consider those extra years as well. So any total financing, you want to kind of come up with a number, a realistic number that it would cost you after all of those years of education. Next, you're going to tell me about licensing. So do you need a license to practice in this field? And are there any, there's a typo, sorry. Are there any exams you need to take in order to get your license? Next, you're going to talk about training. So are there any training, years of training that you need to complete in order to practice in this field? Is it during your school years, or is it going to be on the job? Is it going to be extra unpaid time of training? So make sure you look at any kind of training that's required for your particular career. Next, you're going to research salary, benefits, and work hours. How much income are you going to make in your field of choice? What type of benefits are you going to be provided? And what will your work schedule on average look like for your career? Next is duties. Oh, can we go back up to salary for 1 second? And also, if you have an idea kind of where you want to live, you know, when you permanently, you know, set a home somewhere, research the average salary in that state. So if you know you're going to end up living around Glen Ellen for the rest of your life, make sure you research the average salary of that career in this area, because it does matter where you're going to be living. Next, you're going to look up duties. So what are the daily duties of this career? What population of people are you working with or caring for if it's the medical field? Next, you're going to research career advancement. So what type of jobs can you hold with your degree? Are there any opportunities to be a manager or a supervisor in this career? Can you own your own practice in this career? And then the last thing you're going to talk about is job demand. You're going to look up what the job outlook for your career is. Will there be any jobs when you get out of school? What's the prediction? All right, and then the last component for the grading of this project is a course appearance. This is going to be a published website, so please take the time to make sure it looks professional, make sure it looks neat, make sure you've checked all of your spelling errors and things like that. Have somebody else look at it if you're able to. And making a website in nowadays is an extremely useful skill that you're going to use in future classes and probably in college courses as well. So this is also good practice for that. Sources, make sure you place the sources on your website, on each individual section of the website, to make sure it's easily, the resources or the references are easily accessible. So with every section of your website, you can just paste a link down at the bottom. What I'm going to do now is show you our website. So this is what it looks like. So careers in science and medicine. And then there's a little description here that says learn about careers in the science and medical field, brought to you by the students in anatomy and physiology at Glenbard West High School. It's a pretty simple website. It just explains over here the career categories. So last year, these are the categories that students chose to focus on. So if I click on, so for example, physicians, we have 3 different types of physicians that students chose about to focus on. So for example, sports medicine. If I click on her website, will open, and it has like a nice introduction page. She picked a sports appropriate background. And then as we scroll through her website, here's all the information about being a sports medicine physician. So I linked the website link at the bottom of the assignment, so you could check them out. Please keep in mind, though, that the guidelines were slightly different when we did this the first time. So please make sure you use the descriptions you have on your PDF file. Make sure you look at your rubric, which is on the second page of this file, rather than copying the format of theirs exactly, because I have changed it slightly since we did it before. Total points, this is going to be 84 points. This will count as your final exam if you choose to do this version of your final exam. Please notice that appearance is double points on the rubrics because it is so important since we're publishing this website. If you have any questions on the project, if you have any questions on the rubric, please don't hesitate to ask. When you are done in Adobe Spark, you're going to say like share website, and it will give you a link to your website, just like you see up here at the top of hers. And you'll submit that link to me in Schoology, and I will post it to our website, and that's it. So please let me know if you have any additional questions. I hope you have fun researching this final career project. This will be due, the deadline is the day of your final exam. So you have up until the day of your final exam to submit this project. Okay, guys, I hope you guys are doing well. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me.